Lost $20 on his football bet. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
How are you, man?
Worn out.
Worn out?
I just got in from Dallas, and boy, are my arms tired.
Flew in, huh?
Yeah, feel like it. Great time. Went and watched the Cowboys win.
Kinda. Blew them out.
Yeah, wasn't really exciting, though. It was exciting to see the Cowboys win. But the game didn't have any chills, pills, or thrills. You know, it was just kind of meh, pedestrian. Well, Cowboys defense looks good, Ash.
Pedestrian, 38-3.
Yeah. Well, that kicker, what's his name? Og something.
Yeah, good question.
He's good. Really good.
Patriots are bad.
They had this guy lined up for a 66-yard field goal. And then they had a false start, which would have made it 71, so they decided to punt. And then I started wondering, was the whole thing intended
Probably.
to be, maybe we'll get them to jump?
Probably.
I don't know. I was just like, Texans won.
Texans won. Texans might have to reverse course and stick with my 6-win projection, because after the first two games, I didn't think they'd win 3.
Yeah.
And now they've looked pretty good the last 2 weeks, so we'll give them credit. Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the fine folks at AT Deerlam Hay Feed and Ranch Services. Stop on by for all you need, and don't forget Demo Day starting. There's one this Thursday, and there's one next Thursday. So all the vendors that make the products that Deerlam has will be there to answer your questions. Cattle chutes, feed, all sorts of different products and vendors will be on display and showing you how it works and answering your questions. So get on by there this Thursday. They'll also have refreshments and snacks.
You can get like a handful of rabbit
pellets. Chase it back with a adult beverage, and you'll be good to go.
74 degrees in Victoria under partly cloudy skies, heading to a high today of only 92. I see Matt Boucher checking in. I need to get Matt over to the house. So my neighbor Charles, on the left there, every year, this time of year, exact same spots, that fungus, he's got those little brown patches in his yard. One of them is now encroaching upon my yard. False start, encroachment, no, over there. I don't know what to do about it. I asked him what would happen if we just dug up that section, did a EPA-type remediation of that soil and put down some new soil. And
put up that orange fence around it, or black fence, so nothing.
Seal it off. There's fungus among us. And I don't know, it doesn't make sense. If it's fungus, you should be able to kill it.
Fungicide.
Unless it's herpes fungus. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Every year. And it's not like he overwaters. It's not like he's got thatch. It's ridiculous.
Scott Tonko says might be an old Indian burial ground. Have to sell the house. Couldn't sell the house if it was.
No, you couldn't sell it. It had to be a National Historic Site, and you just had to keep paying for it.
Yeah, government would eminent domain it and
take it over.
Give you nothing on it.
Yeah, make it a special religious site. Good morning, Crystal Map.
Jordan Glass checking in. Lisa Poole. Natalie Mayer, good morning. Dottie Bitterly. Mark Jameson.
Hello, Mark.
Matt Boucher. David Glass. Stephen Kidder. Diane Tippett. Justin Glass, Ricky King, Judge Posey, good morning. Junior Samples, Kendra Douglas, H.R. Mallory, Monica Jost, Stuart Martin, Marvin Mickish, Roy Gutierrez, Stephanie Cotty, Scott Snow, Rena Scherer. Good morning, everybody.
You know, that Dallas trip, thoughts on that Dallas trip? Hi, Cheryl. Thoughts on that Dallas trip? Always exciting to go to the ball game, and we went up with Lee and Ida from Veracruz. I got a Lee and Ida story for you.
Okay.
So Lee the other day gets up on Saturday morning and decides, man, I need to get the oil changed in my truck before we leave town. And he goes to one of those oil places. He didn't go to Atzenhofer. And he goes to one of those oil places with his Chevy pickup. And then he said, well, I don't know. I didn't think to go to Atzenhofer. I thought it would be too expensive. It was $152 at the place that he went.
You reminded him?
Oh.
He's got a diesel, though, right?
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
And I told him, I go, well, he goes, well, you know, they sold me this filter and that filter. And I said, look, man, take it to Atzenhofer. I go, I take Dawn's Escalade over there, full synthetic, new filters, all that. It's less than $100.
He's probably the same engine as in his truck.
Absolutely. I told him to do that. But, you know, and it's the truth about wherever you're going. But when you're going that direction, you're kind of amped up. You're excited. It's just like vacation. Getting to Puerto Vallarta is fun. Coming home is a butt whooping.
Yeah. That's where you are today?
Man, that game, so the game was at 3:25, and the game's over about 6, and we wandered down, and we ate some leftover fajita meat, and the food was fantastic. The company was fantastic. Tailgate was fun. And then we get in the car, and it's just, you just drive forever to get out of the DFW area.
Well, because you're not in Dallas. You're in Arlington, and people forget that.
Over and south on 35W. And then we finally, I don't know, 9:30 or something, we got to, maybe not that long. We got to Waco. We pulled over, stretched legs, peed, got a drink, you know, In-N-Out burger deal, and got back on the road. And the other group that was with us was Angel and Adolf Hernandez, J.R. Perez, and Richard Tristan. They had kept going, and they said, hey, don't come. Once you get to Temple, it's bumper to bumper all the way to Austin. This is like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's not good.
So we cut over and got on 77.
Came down that way.
But then, Ash, these folks know this, you know, it's Lexington, Giddings. Rosebud, Cameron, Lexington, Giddings, LaGrange, Schulenburg.
Problem is, once you go basically from, Cameron to LaGrange, or to Giddings, there's nothing.
Nothing.
That's a desolate stretch.
And then you've also got all the deer were hanging out. The moon was up. The deer hanging out on the highway.
I just about clipped a young coyote on Saturday night.
We just about clipped a couple of young idiots. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning.
On a Sunday.
On a Sunday night. And between Schulenburg, Hallettsville, it's between Giddings and Schulenburg, or LaGrange and Schulenburg. Ida goes, whoo, did you see that? Ida was driving. Oh, did you see that? Some guy out there walking down the shoulder of the highway pushing a grocery basket. I'm like, I want to go back and hit him just on principle.
But you didn't.
Mm-mm. Every time I dozed off, there was a bump in the road.
Oh, you know they were doing that on purpose because they caught you napping.
No.
David Brogger checking in. Brent Anderson, good morning. Greg Garcia, Daniel Wade White.
But it was worth
Let's get to the real story this week.
Astros.
Astros update brought to you by First State Bank.
Friendliest bank anywhere.
Locations all through South Texas. Anywhere you are, they are. And they can help you with all your banking needs.
Astros maintained a been there, done that mentality, a taking care of business mentality, a contrast of two clubs, no kidding. On Saturday night, Astros win, Rangers win. No.
Yes.
Yes. Astros have a celebratory glass of champagne in the locker room, literally. Share some stories, one more game, let's go get it. Then they go back to work. The Rangers partied like it was 1999 because they'd made the playoffs.
And I mean, can you really blame them?
No.
I bet you there's nobody on this team that was there in 2016, the last time they made the playoffs,
there's
right?
Nobody on that team. So they're celebrating making the playoffs. The next day, the Mariners beat the Rangers. The Astros take care of the Diamondbacks. Astros win the division.
Astros won 4 in a row to win the division. The Diamondbacks limped in. Same thing. They were caught maybe celebrating too much on Saturday night once they had clinched a playoff spot. But what you did in the regular season doesn't matter. That's what they say. How you exit the regular season, I always think, has a role in your postseason.
Yeah, I think the Rangers are going to be done. I think they're going to get beat by the Rays.
Well, they get the final wild card spot, and they have to go play Tampa Bay, who just happens to be the top wild card team. 99-game winning top wild card team. Toronto has to take on Minnesota.
I guess I'm kind of happy for the Twins. They spent a lot of money, and they've got a team that's good.
Well, Springer and Correa were both expected to lead their respective teams to the postseason, and Toronto's there and Minnesota's there. Here's what I don't get, though. The division win, and maybe this is because of the way they seed it. Why wouldn't the final wild card team play the other division champ? Or I don't know. Like Minnesota's playing Toronto.
And you're thinking maybe Minnesota should play the Orioles?
No, I was thinking that Texas should play Minnesota as the bottom wild card team, and Minnesota is the division champ that has to play in the first round. But I guess because Tampa has a better record than the other three teams. I don't know.
12 more wins than the division champ.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how they do it, but
what it means to the Astros is a week off, a week to rest.
They'll play next Saturday.
Yeah.
So I think
Rangers
it's good
play
for
tomorrow
them.
night.
Yeah, they'll start tomorrow in Tampa. 3-game series. All the opening rounds are best of 3. I tell you what, I'm impressed with Hector Neris on the weekend. Saturday night comes in with the bases loaded, I think, right?
I think so.
Gets a strikeout and then gets a weekly hit chopper to Bregman, who made a nice play on the run, a throwing run to first. Really, it wasn't even as close as I thought it was going to be when I saw the ball leave the bat. And then the next inning, and I get it, a little amped up from that, kind of pitches himself into a jam, but gets out of it, and boy, was he fired up. It was good to see.
Bregman kind of quietly becoming the Astros leader.
25 home runs on the season, a couple hundred RBIs.
Listen to this.
A lot of people were wondering what it was going to be like if the Astros didn't win the division. I guess we'll never know.
Astros went nuts, champagne all around, bouncing around.
Yeah. Astros have won 6 of the last 7 AL West titles. The only anomaly in there, the COVID year when the A's ended up winning it.
Yeah, still went to the playoffs.
Still went to the playoffs.
And
lost in the World Series.
The A's are not that good.
No, that was just, they only played, 60 games that year? Half a season roughly. So, yeah, Texas and Tampa, they get the afternoon game on ABC.
It's terrible for them. The reality of today is they're at Tampa Bay. So instead of think of this, if they had just won yesterday, they could be sleeping at home for a week. Instead, they lose and they board a plane for Tampa today for a 2:00 game. You're talking about guys getting to the ballpark 8:30, 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. It's going to hit them that they party too soon.
No, the Rangers were the second wild card. The Blue Jays were the third wild card. See, this makes even less sense now. The Rangers and Tampa Bay have to play, and you're the 1-2 wild cards?
Yeah.
This makes no sense now.
Seems like it should be
Toronto. If anything, Toronto
Texans
should be playing Tampa.
Yeah. Who would the Rangers play?
Minnesota?
Concur.
I don't know. I don't get it.
At any rate, I think they'll be done.
Amanda Smith King, good morning. Andy Rockovich checking in. Tom Price.
Hope you folks all had a great weekend. Hope everybody was safe.
Bobby Leister. Judge Zeller, good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
Scott Tomko.
Hope nobody needed Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300.
You must have done a lot of screaming at that Cowboys game.
I did.
Your voice is a little verklempt.
I was like, beer girl, beer girl. Now, you can't do it, man. You can't do it when you got to have a 6-hour drive home.
No, not at all.
Allen's Wrecker Service for all your towing needs, no matter what they are, no matter how big, no matter how small.
361-578-6300. If you're in the area and need a tow, give Alan a call.
The VCS companies, AT&T Store, and Rocket Oilfield Services, all part of the Hartman Communication Empire. Happy birthday.
Yep. Belated birthday to
J.R.
J.R. Hartman.
What's he got to be now? Honestly, 40-ish?
40-ish?
40-ish.
45-ish?
Yeah, 45-ish. Happy birthday, JR. Cheswick Furniture Company for over 100 years in downtown Victoria. Cheswick and Love make your house a home. Go by this week and see why they say you just always do better at Cheswick. Bedding, Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, Stearns & Foster.
Maytag, Whirlpool appliances, the only ones still made in America.
Best recliners, go by. And then today, Leonida, cheating death, avoiding the deer, avoiding the homeless, home to make Mexican food happen for you. Vera Cruz, just the best Mexican food in town. Get over there today.
Period. Full stop. And the Astros update brought to you by First State Bank. Check them out. They've got 2 locations that act as loan centers, and they can expedite and make any decision quickly. They don't have to send it off to some national clearinghouse where they don't know you. The folks that you're dealing with will put in a good word for you and say, yeah, I recommend this one. So, oh, man, where do you want to go? The shutdown was averted. Michael Cloud voted against the package, and I'm glad he did. The only thing in finding out, and we've always talked about this, 13 to 18% of the government shuts down. I found out over the weekend that if the government shuts down, our military men and women, our servicemen and women, do not get paid. Yeah, they get back pay, but these people already don't get paid enough, in my opinion. And then they're expected to go even more paycheck to paycheck. We need the next piece of legislation that needs to be filed needs to be some sort of amendment to this that our servicemen and women will still get paid if there is a shutdown.
Do you think that the Dems hold on to that card as like a trump? They're like, well, look what the Republicans did. They're keeping our military men and women from getting paid.
I'm sure the Republicans play the exact same game at the time because the Dems will say, well, they love our military, but they don't want them to get paid. And the Republicans will turn around and say, well, they hate our military, and they don't want you to get paid. That's how they play that game. So I have no doubt that both sides use it to their advantage when they need to.
Yeah. Clearly, though, essential service. I don't understand why you would.
I mean, and they're still expected to work. 335 to 91 vote in the House, and then it went 88 to 6 in the Senate. Current funding levels extended through the 45-day stopgap funding bill. It did add $16 billion for disaster relief and did omit any new funds for Ukraine.
It omitted them. Does that mean that they're not subject to this deal?
No,
or that they're
it omitted
not
new funding for Ukraine. You got to pay attention to the wording on these things. They're still going to keep funding Ukraine. They're just not adding any money to the levels at which we're funding Ukraine. Matt Gaetz says he's going to raise the motion this week to oust Kevin McCarthy from his speakership. I don't know
enough about it. I don't know what he did or didn't do.
Well, because he had to. He basically pushed something forward instead of the government shutting down. I don't know that I'm that disappointed in what McCarthy's done, though, to be honest.
Right.
I don't know anybody else on the Republican side who could do the job. Let's be honest. Nobody else wants it. Matt Gaetz, I think, tried, and nobody wanted him. No knock on Gaetz. I like what he does and the stances he takes, but he's not speaker material. And then you got Jamal Bowman. How is this not an insurrection?
I don't understand either. That's what I was going to ask you is what do you make of this Representative Jamal Bowman He's from New York. He's a Democrat.
Of course he is.
They're saying that he intentionally pulled a fire alarm in his, was it in the Capitol building?
Yeah.
That he did so to delay a vote.
Probably was hoping that they wouldn't hit the deadline and then the vote wouldn't go through and the government would be shut down. But did he not disrupt the proceedings in the Capitol?
Yeah. Why is that not insurrection?
And then last week, 18 environmentalists actually got into Speaker McCarthy's office and then were arrested. But they're not being charged with insurrection. How do they get into McCarthy's office? They show up with their signs and their flags and wearing a bunch of stuff to show that they're environmentalists, and they end up in the speaker's office.
I'm looking.
And they just get arrested for misdemeanors and nothing else. And then Bowman. Did you see Bowman? Oh, it was an accident. Amazing how quickly the Capitol can release video when they want to release the video. And how it's taking more than acts of Congress to get any video released on the January 6th issue. But within hours, video of Jamal Bowman pulling the fire alarm near an emergency exit, and it shows it was no accident. He didn't like bump into it and the thing, it was a loose connection and it fell.
Right.
This is one of those T-handles you have to pull down.
Right here, Glenn Beck says, arrest him. The footage is there. This is the same violation of obstruction that took down those on January 6th.
See, we're not alone in our thinking here.
Arrest him.
Junior Sample says he didn't join for the pay. He joined for the privilege of serving his country. No, I get that, but still, if you've got a wife at home trying to make ends meet, or a husband at home trying to make ends meet, and then you don't get paid, and I get it. A lot of the federal agencies and their credit unions that they all belong to, they float them short-term interest-free loans to get them through the periods. So they have to do a little work. They have to go and sign up some paperwork. I'm not sure about the servicemen and women, but I've heard other federal agencies, if they belong to their federal credit union, then they front them no interest loans to get them through the shutdowns, because we've only had 40 years of shutdowns, right, or close to
22 of them since '76.
Yeah. Junior Sample says Speaker McCarthy caved.
They did say that Bowman used to be a school principal, and he knows exactly what that fire alarm is.
No kidding. Wonder how many kids he suspended for pulling a fire alarm.
Yes, sir. Same thing.
Yeah. No, ridiculous. He attempted to thwart the proceedings of the government. That is, by definition, an insurrection.
Yep.
Throw him in Guantanamo.
Without counsel for a while.
And let him rot there, because that's what the left is calling for anybody who was arrested on January 6th to happen to them.
Yep. Very interesting.
Torrin Bale says that's a problem. Republicans get in charge of something and they can't get along.
It's true. We're never unified in our course. Probably not since Reagan have the Republicans been proud to be Republicans. They're all somewhat apologetic about it.
Yeah, but even people forget Reagan acquiesced.
Careful.
And compromised.
Careful.
Who was his secretary? Was Kissinger his guy?
No, Alexander Haig.
Haig, thank you.
The old general.
I think Kissinger had a lot of influence in his. And I don't think Reagan and Kissinger got along very well.
No. He was Jewish.
I don't think that was the reason. Christina Wise, good morning. Kelly Frommie says Costa Rica's declared a state of emergency due to the never-ending flow of illegals traipsing through their country. 85,000 went through Costa Rica last month alone.
Did you see that official numbers show that last month was the highest number recorded of illegal entry into this country? 260,000 is the number that they estimate entered illegally. That's a lot of folks.
What was that number again?
260,000.
Ridiculous. In the last month.
In the last month.
Crazy. Crazy.
Scott Tonker says, I'm tired of politics. Let's talk more sports. Can't please anybody.
Nope. Well, I picked Kansas to cover. They didn't. Or did they?
No. 6 teams to spread.
What was the final score? 20 points?
34 to 10, something like that.
They didn't get to the over-under.
Aggies beat Arkansas. Good win for
I had
them.
Arkansas to win that one.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be the naysayer.
Yeah, the Aggies did good.
We all had the Cowboys into cover, and we all took the Steelers.
Hats off to the Texans.
Yeah. They look good in their red uniforms. I like the look. The red helmet, though, the logo just doesn't pop on that helmet. They almost need to go to like a traditional
swoosh.
What they need to do on that one is make it like a traditional looking skull that you'd find, bleached skull sitting out in the field somewhere, and make it a little bit more,
They could
intimidating.
call it their playoff hopes helmet. With just a dry,
dead like
bone skull.
So just as we got off the air on Friday, news broke that Senator Dianne Feinstein passed away at the age of 90. She'd been battling a lot of
old
health
age
issues and had planned to retire at the end of her term in 2024. Kind of sad that she had to work till the end. She didn't have to. Loaded. Lots of calls to resign over her health, but passed away. And then Mitch McConnell. Oh, she was a trailblazer. She was. I'm trying to find a piece of legislation that she actually championed that I'm in favor of.
It says here Feinstein was a centrist Democrat known for trying to find common ground with Republicans and deviated on a number of issues from her party, including opposing the Green New Deal.
All right, there we go.
She won passage of a 10-year ban on semi-automatic rifles and overseeing a 6-year review of the CIA's detention and interrogation program.
So basically, we couldn't waterboard anybody anymore.
Right.
Not sure that it was ever effective, to be honest.
John McCain.
Other more effective ways to get information from people.
Senator John McCain, soft on torture. He and Feinstein co-authored a bill on no more torturing of detainees. It makes sense after what Senator McCain went through.
Became the first woman mayor of San Francisco.
Why don't we get us a woman mayor here in Victoria?
A pretty good one right now.
Bogdan's just a cross-dresser. He's not. I want somebody full-blown female. I think Bogdan does a great job. Jeff Bogdan's a fine guy, and he's doing a great job as mayor. So glad.
Never really had any controversies under him, so I mean, if that's the benchmark these days for elected officials, he's doing well.
But now sometimes if you don't have any controversies, you're not doing enough.
Or you're doing just enough.
Right? I think
you're not
Jeff
having
does
to make
a great
up
job.
Online personas.
True story. Or mail it in. Well, isn't that funny how, that guy just disappeared?
For now.
Oh, no, forever. You'll never hear from Paul Pulisic again.
Dwayne Keffy D. Davis arrested Friday and charged with the murder of Tupac Shakur. Long been linked to his death. I mean, it's only been, what, 27 years?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, took him this long.
Police
Makes you wonder.
seized a number of items from Davis's wife's home in July.
What was he doing?
it,
Holding on to like the
memorabilia?
bloodstained? Yeah, no kidding. The bloodstained shirt, the gun that he used. I mean, whatever you. Yeah, I don't know.
That's
Something
crazy.
Doesn't really kind of make sense, does it?
No. Interesting.
Climate change, being blamed for all the flooding in New York because of a system that sort of stalled out over the city.
New York is sinking. I read that this week.
Well, it certainly is now.
0.06 of an inch per year from 2016 until now, which would mean that New York has sunk over a half inch. Very hard to measure. How much of that is ice caps melting and the water coming up?
Yeah, I mean, how do you measure that? You go all the way underneath Manhattan and
Yeah. Measure.
measure from the base of the island?
It's crazy.
But they're going to blame climate change. Nobody blamed climate change in the 1930s when much of the U.S. was under a drought and the Great Depression was upon us. Nobody blamed climate change then for the drought. Nobody, but now it's what happens, right? And this isn't the first time New York's had a system like this. It's the first time, I think, since the last time they had a hurricane go over and they got this kind of rain. But this has happened before.
It's the first time since the last time.
It is.
That's good.
You like that, do you?
That's the first time since the last time.
It's the first time since the last time. It's the first time since the last time the Astros won the division.
Craziness.
But I just thought, it's just some of this stuff. Just
What do you
but a lot happened over the weekend. It was a very busy weekend. How'd Bailey Zappi look? You were at
Bailey
the
Zappi
game.
looked good, folks.
Came in for Mac Jones.
Mac
Mac Jones is not
terrible.
the guy.
It's terrible. He's not an NFL quarterback.
But let's be honest, they don't have much of an offensive line. They don't have a lot of weapons.
They're definitely rebuilding.
Ezekiel Elliott. I mean,
He and Dak had an emotional hug. The Cowboys crowd, hats off to Jerry Jones. He just gets it. You got the Jumbotron. They did a 2-minute video of Brad Sham calling great runs by Dak by Zeke. And in the bottom right of the screen was Zeke looking up at the deal. He was emotional.
did they show his great run to Mexico when he was holding out a couple of years back? No, didn't show that one.
So funny. At the end, he was like, he did this to the crowd,
Didn't get a chance to do much of that
He
during the
didn't do
game.
much. Bailey Zappi looked good, threw the ball all around the field. Much better passer than Jones.
Daniel Wade White says you measure from the base of the shaft when you're
knew-
measuring it. When
You
you're
know what?
measuring an
Dave,
island.
that's exactly where my brain went, and I chose not to say it, which is probably why I have a radio program. But that was where I was. You go to the base of the shaft, and you measure it from there.
Stuart Martin says first time since the last time sounds like a country song. It does.
Right.
I'm gonna have to write that one down.
That was not bad.
Good morning, Katina Arterberry, Bob Constantine checking in, BJ Nelson. Good morning. Careful, BJ. You're on as BJ Nelson, VISD District 3 trustee.
Be careful.
Somebody's gonna screenshot this
Don't.
and say she shouldn't be listening to those conservative jackwagon conspiracy theorists as the trustee.
You know that BJ thinks we're liberals. Bob Constantine checking in. Don't forget October 13th, Friday night. Club Westerner. Tickets still available. You want to go out and support Project Tickle Pink.
No tables, just individual tickets now.
You can just stand there, lonely guy. If you're a loser, nothing to do.
Go gamble.
Get a date. Have some fun. $50 a ticket includes dinner. You get in. Casino night, big prizes to win.
Lisa Poole says, I do not feel sorry for New York City.
Nope.
See, I can't go there.
Why not? Because you like the pizza?
I have friends there.
They should move. Bob
They
says
have
he's got
businesses
48
and families.
tickets left.
They'll be gone by
See, if you had
Wednesday.
47 tickets left, they'd be like, who's that lonely guy? Hey there, lonely guy. Lonely guy. Yeah. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends.
Yeah, you can go there by yourself and meet all your friends every night, not just Thursdays or whenever Wade and Carter goes.
You could be the cool kid at Palace Bingo.
You could be every night, especially when you win. Everybody wants a piece of a winner.
Right?
Wade and
Get
Carter
by
has
there.
lots of winners. Every
We
time
do.
we go, at least 30% of the winners are
Yep.
Wade and Carter folks.
Great Barn Mercantile today, opening at 10.
They'll be open.
Cheryl will be right to the corner of Airline and Laurent.
I bet you there's a nice hydrangea arrangement. Hydrangement.
Oh,
Nice. She can make you.
There you go. Ads and Offer, adsandoffer.com. Like I said, Lee Caballero, get into Ads and Offer for your routine maintenance.
Next time.
Save 30%.
The next time since the last time.
Right. It's a no-brainer. Get in.
Yeah, they won't upsell you on filters that don't make a difference. Well, your air filter needs to be changed. Your wipers aren't working right.
I tell you something else. I sent Ida over there. She has an Escalade, and her yard guy was there, and all of a sudden her ring at her house goes off. She's driving. She's on the phone. She's looking. The yard guy kicked up something, sent a rock through the window, back passenger window of the Escalade.
Oh.
And he was describing it was like Monty Python. It's just a mere flesh wound. It's just a little. Well, they send us. There's like a hole. The neighbor went over, took a Bud Light box and some duct tape. Told us it's the Dylan Mulvaney edition Escalade. But Ads and Offer can help you get that window. It's a GM product. Help it get back in. AJ's Detailing can then tint that window for you. Get by
And
see
take care of the rest of the
AJ.
car for you as well.
Check him out on Facebook. Do we dare?
Sure we do.
Let's do it.
Armor Air, 579-0966. Give Armor Air a call.
Hello, how are you doing? This
Hey,
is Peter.
Good morning,
Hello,
Peter. How are you,
McNally.
sir?
How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well. I was just going to call to report to you the best restaurant in New York. You asked me to,
Yes,
do
sir.
that.
Yes, sir.
and my favorite restaurant, and it's absolutely outstanding, is called the Knickerbocker, and it's on 29 East 9th Street down in the East Village. It's right across from where my brother lived, and it's a traditional old-fashioned restaurant. It's been there over 100 years. The waiters wear white shirts and ties. They have a great wait staff. The food's excellent, and it's a general American menu, and it is just outstanding. That is my favorite restaurant in New York.
That is awesome.
none.
I will make a note. What,
The
by the way,
Knickerbocker.
All the years I've been there, I've never been to the Knickerbocker.
what was a Knickerbocker? I know the New York Knicks were the Knickerbockers. What is a Knickerbocker?
You know, I don't really know. That's a good question, Brent. I'd like to look that up. I think it might be some kind of a political figure or something like that.
There
I
you
really
go.
don't know. I have no idea. I'll look it up. We'll find out what a Knickerbocker is. But the maitre d', he's probably in his 70s. He's been there 35 years, he said.
Wow.
That's awesome.
It's a neighborhood place. You know, they know most of the people that sit in the bar. It's a real neat place. My brother went there for years. You know,
That's-
right across the street from his house. So
That's
anyway,
awesome.
I thought I'd report that. And New York is alive and well. You know, it makes you wonder, where's all the money coming from? It must be foreign money because they're still building those 80-story apartment
Yep.
buildings. And I'm
Yes,
sure they're
sir.
pre-sold, or the banks would loan them the money if they weren't pre-sold. So
How
it's
are you
amazing.
doing? You
Oh, I'm
good?
doing well. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm back in Beaumont. So
Nice.
anyway,
Well, we
I just thought
appreciate
I'd
it.
call and report that to you.
Thank
And I
you
you.
very much.
I
Appreciate it.
enjoyed it. I was trying to follow the Astros the whole time I was there, so you know
Well,
the
they're-
Astros aren't real popular with Yankee
no,
fans.
they're not. No, sir.
So
Hey.
I was around a bunch of Yankee fans, but we had a great time, and they produced an opera that was written by the music part was written by a guy named Jake Hagee, and my brother wrote the libretto. He wrote the story, and it's based on the book by Sister Prejean, that Dead Man Walking. It's one of the first American operas that's ever been done at the Metropolitan Opera House. You talk about a big deal. It seats 4,000.
Wow.
The Metropolitan Opera House.
Cool.
And you went to the show?
Oh, yeah. I went
was
to the
great?
opera. Oh, it was fantastic. Unbelievable. An opera in English.
Yeah, there you go. Amen.
Well, that's the
my
only way
brother
you
was
can
a
get
big opera fan.
It's the only way you can get Americans there is to translate it from Latin.
Yeah, really.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Hey, you have a great week, sir.
Great tribute to your
Y'all
brother.
have a good show.
Thank
Bye.
you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Peter.
And we have to be careful. People are going to start losing our edge. They don't realize that we love Pete McNally.
Callie Fromm says Gavin Newsom has pledged to appoint a black woman to fill Feinstein's vacancy in the Senate. Yeah,
because that's exactly what you
he did.
want to do.
That's what he did. Had nothing to do with
There's
whether or
gotta
not
be a
she's
black
qualified.
woman.
Apparently, been a big behind the scenes. Butler's her last name. I think LaForza is her first name. If I'm wrong, it's a different first name, but
LaForza.
okay. According to Roy Gutierrez, but she's apparently been a behind-the-scenes person in the Democrat Party, and especially big in California, fairly, I guess, known in Democrat circles in California. But how you were an advisor to Kamala Harris's presidential campaign run, and she was the first one out.
Yeah. You're not really good at it.
Probably not very good at it.
But in her defense, she didn't have much to work with.
Well, true.
Interesting. At one point, they were suggesting that he might appoint Oprah.
Oprah doesn't want the pay cut.
No, she wouldn't.
She'd have to give up all her
She
her
doesn't
day
want to
job
be under
stuff.
scrutiny
No,
either.
not at all. And then I think you'd really see how Oprah would vote on certain things. It'd be interesting. I think she likes playing herself down the middle, where she appeals to both Republicans and Dems.
I agree.
And I don't think Oprah would be stupid enough to take the position, because then she would alienate half her fan base.
Yeah, I agree.
Or the minute she voted in a way that didn't agree with the Democrats, then she'd lose them too, and she'd have nothing. Well, Vincent, good morning. But I don't know. The only thing I'm kind of hopeful for is she's only got a year and a bit, roughly a year in that seat, because it comes up till next November.
Do you look for her to run for re-election?
Oh, I'm sure she will, because Gavin Newsom even said he wasn't just putting in a placeholder. He wanted somebody there that can win the seat, which I'm not sure she can. I don't know.
California.
But we'll find out whether or not she runs unopposed, and that'll just tell you how influential Gavin Newsom is when it comes to politics. And I don't quite get it either. He's a spare.
Yeah.
People in California can't see his policies are absolutely destroying that
he's
state.
Nancy Pelosi's nephew. That's what helps him. He's got the big stroke of the big government behind him. Hey, did you see Judge Posey check in today?
Yes, he checked
in
in
I want
this
to make
morning.
sure.
Yep, no, he's there.
Good morning, Judge. I knew we had Judge Zeller.
Judge Posey checked in as well.
What's on the chopping block today? You know, they pointed out the other day that they do a lot more than just
make
lunches.
food for 4 days a week. And
they will do catering for any size group.
they'll do cooking classes. You buy a brisket from them and you want to learn how to cook that brisket, they offer cooking classes. I didn't know that. That was something new.
Very cool.
It's awesome. So they're a lot more than just your meat store.
Right, but they're a full-service meat store. It's a great place to go. And
They're not quite Sam the Butcher and Alice service level,
right?
but they're full-service butcher.
It was Alice, and she was all wrapped up in chains and
Alice in
said, when
chains.
you see it, let us know.
Yeah.
Get by the chopping block this week. The meat is fantastic. I'm sure they're still honoring that $6.99 a pound, 90-10 hamburger meat.
If not, maybe they will.
Yeah,
just
tell 'em
because
Wade
we told
Carter
them
sent
to.
you. Oh, speaking of telling Wade Carter sent you, Para Vida, for life. Erica Briggs called. She wants to re-up and do another month. By the way, you guys have been great. Some of you have been going into Paravita. She says, let's do another month. She goes, Brent, you're still fat. Let's do another month and see if we can get some
I
of that
like her
off of you.
optimism to think that one more month is going to do it.
Well, I think it's a trap. She's laying a trap. But extend the Wade and Carter discount. If you don't do any, if you're out driving around this week and you're thinking about a snack, just go in and get her little chicken salad. It's got cranberries. Oh, it's amazing.
I had the pork tenderloin for dinner Saturday night, and this was after being at soccer, and we had a lightning delay, and it was a long day, and didn't get to eat much during the day. I got home at like 8 o'clock by the time it was all said and done. Out in the heat, I had a pork tenderloin with sweet potato mash and green beans.
Ooh.
And it filled me up, and I didn't snack all night.
It's awesome.
And it was good, and it had a little,
No
had a little
preservatives,
side
no
of
gluten.
It's amazing. A little thing of sauce that came with it, and it was more than enough to cover the meat. And I still had sauce left over that I didn't use. It just shows you how accustomed we've become to just dousing everything with everything,
Using
and
a
taking
ladle.
big ladles of everything
Yeah.
to slop on your plate, and you walk away with something that looks like Thanksgiving every night of the week.
Yeah.
And you don't need that much.
You wonder why you're fat.
This thing was right around 400 calories, and I was satisfied, and it was good.
But get in this week and try it.
If nothing else, give
The
it a
fresh
shot.
dishes are microwavable and disposable. Take
Or
it to
you
your
can,
office.
or you can rewash them and
Yeah.
use them.
They're worth using. Get by Paravita.
And they'll teach you portion control, because when you fill one of those meal things up with your leftovers the next day, there you go.
Is that Prince? Portion control. I don't know. White Trash Services 550-1826.
Give White Trash a call for all your weekly trash pickup needs in Victoria County and 6 contiguous counties. They've got dumpsters, roll-offs, demolition services. They can do it all.
They do. They do a
Cracking
great job.
yourself
There's
up
Brother
over there?
Gary. Yeah, I made myself laugh.
Good.
USA Concrete Coating 578 Home. Charlie Garcia, the singing cowboy, will put down a tough as nails polyurethane coat.
Oh, crack, stick, peel, and fade.
There you go. Reach out to Charlie. You're going to get that down. You're not going to need me.
Just a little slower than you.
Right? Wind
On that
Services. Full service. Turnkey generator service. Get by and talk to them.
There, look at that. Peter McNally already going to work. Knickerbockers is a descendant of the early Dutch settlers.
There you go.
I bet you it was a derogatory term back then.
I'm going to bet it was too, but probably defined like a street tough, a tough kid, right? Brother G, like in New York, he's a Knickerbocker. You know, he's a, yeah. When we were kids, they were, quite often they were referred to as the Knickerbockers, and the Knicks was kind of like slang. It's like saying, you know, San Fran instead of San Francisco. Frisco instead of San Francisco. Which, by the way, nobody on the West Coast says Frisco. Nobody.
What do they say?
They say San Francisco.
They don't say San Fran either?
Maybe. They
Junior
don't say
Sample
Frisco.
says it's also because of the pants they wore.
Are they? Yeah, knickers.
There you go, Knickerbocker pants.
There you have it.
They must have been pretty good golfers to influence a whole
Genre.
genre. Speaking of golf, Ryder Cup, Europe retains it.
Europe.
U.S. with a late charge, but it wasn't really close.
Lots of scrapping. You know, these guys, what you learn about professional golfers is they're
Just because they don't come over here doesn't mean they're not good.
yeah, but what you also learn is they're real chippy. Anytime they're in any kind of competition like this, then they're like, did you see what he said to his caddy? It's like a cat fight.
But who's pointing that out?
Then
The folks trying to make something of what was a European runaway,
yeah,
and they were just
interesting.
trying to make the broadcasting interesting from an American perspective, because there was nothing interesting from an American perspective for this Ryder Cup. And it was on early, like midnight here, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Can you bookmark that?
so-
Where Pete said Brent is correct. That's right along with Jesus wept. Brent is correct. The rarity of such a verse. And then B.J. Nelson comes in. What does this do? Is there a test?
We could learn a lot from the Dutch. They contributed to so much of the growth of America.
I mean, it's impossible to argue.
And they still are. They're the Amish.
Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
You're just making that up. You're just making that up on a Monday.
It's a Make It Up Monday.
Let's get the brother over here on mic 4, whatever that one is. And
Is it Thursday already?
No, but here's the deal. It's bonus time with Brother G.
All right.
My
I'm just
thought
enjoying
is-
the show.
Well, my thought is, did you watch that Cowboys game yesterday?
I saw a little bit of it,
Did you
yes.
see Bailey play?
I
a
saw
little bit?
Bailey. He's good, but
He's
he's
really
too
good.
far behind.
They're
They were shooting at him, man.
no, their teams.
They were coming after
They're
him.
terrible. The
What's wrong with
Patriots.
it? Did you see Belichick go over his face after
Oh.
that second interception? Wow.
So
Mac Jones is terrible.
who was it that the Patriots were down 28-3? Was it like against
Atlanta,
My
a
yeah,
Super
long
Bowl.
ago, yeah. And there was in one of my many prostate-induced trips to the urinal, there was a guy there about my age with a Patriots jersey on, and he goes, "Don't forget, we were down 28-3." And I
Right.
said, "Yeah,
Right.
it ain't the Super Bowl, and you ain't got Brady." He said, "No, those are." He goes, "You're right. It's over."
That was his worst beating ever. Belichick's.
Yeah. I go, "It's over."
Wait, he didn't have worse ones when he was with what?
Well, as a
He
Patriot.
never really
As a
coached
Patriot. Patriot.
He never really coached the Jets. He was there for a little bit
Yeah.
and then left, right?
Showed up.
Yeah. But he wasn't. Didn't he coach Cleveland for a
He
while?
did.
Was,
He did.
Cleveland was
He
terrible
did.
back then. I was surprised he got the New England job when he got it. And honestly, I didn't think he'd amount to much there.
And everybody thinks he's a genius. It's amazing how a quarterback, Mac Brown, is a football icon. Thank you, Vince Young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you
Jimbo Fisher, thank you, Jameis Winston. 'cause
Jameis Winston.
He's winning more, although he's still. You guys remember when I told you that the Aggies were going to go 8-4, maybe 7-5?
They're doing
They're
good.
exactly on my pace.
4-1.
Yeah,
right
nothing
now.
has changed from my pace. I had them losing one of Miami or Arkansas.
Yeah, we knew Auburn was weak.
Yeah, and they're going to lose this week to Alabama.
Alabama. Texas plays at 11 against Oklahoma, and then about 2:30 Texas A&M and Alabama. That's two good games
Two
back to back.
great games
Two
back
great
to back.
games.
Oklahoma, you said opened up as a
5.5-point favorite. I can't figure that out.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, they're like number.
brother's checking his
check
They're number 12 down here.
brother's checking all his book over there.
It's interesting.
Same
how
book
can
you
do
have a
that.
phone.
right?
The same book. Okay, let's see. Texas right here.
Texas
is a-
Texas 5-point
Oh.
favorite.
Texas 5-point favorite.
So how can Texas be a 5-point favorite when ESPN says it's a 54% chance OU wins the game?
Because don't believe in it.
Power rating.
ESPN
Power
analytics.
rating. Oklahoma has a better power rating than Texas. That's what I'm thinking.
How's that?
Interesting.
I don't understand that either.
Yeah, Caesars Sportsbook has Texas at 5-point favorites. The over/under 59.5. Did anybody watch that LSU Ole Miss game?
Was great.
Yeah,
I didn't see
100
it.
points.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
I
like
think-
31-28 at the half. It's just SEC defense-driven
Yeah.
football.
The over/under on that one, I think, was like 59 or something crazy. They blew that away.
So the lowest number of points the Longhorns have scored this year is 31. And
Who's had a tougher schedule?
Texas.
I'm just Texas has played Rice, Alabama, Wyoming.
Right?
Wyoming played them tough for 4 quarters or
Yeah,
3
they did.
quarters. Don't forget.
Sure did it.
Baylor, Kansas.
Kansas
Kansas played
Kansas
them-
was 24.
Kansas
Two
played them
ranked
tough
teams.
for the kickoff, and that was pretty much it. Oklahoma's last 5. Arky State, SMU, Tulsa, Cincy, Iowa State.
Didn't
And
they
they
blow
only-
them all out? They blew them all
They
out,
only
right?
beat Cincy 20-6, and they only beat SMU 28-11. I think Texas is
You only
gonna
beat
throttle
Alabama 34-24.
Yeah.
Right.
Get this, boys.
Alabama, SMU, same program.
Alabama, 2.5-point favorites over A&M right now as it sits. 2.5.
In Tuscaloosa.
And A&M.
Okay.
At
Here's
A&M.
why. They try to attribute that Kyle Field is such a tough place to play, but historically, if you look at the record, it's not.
But they got
But they got the
103,000.
12th man. How can
They
they
got
not
what
be?
do they have? 103,000. Bless you. Have 103,000.
They're adding a new
screaming.
deck right now.
John Paul Hull says it's because ESPN knows Texas is overrated like every year.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
JP.
There's Frank Mejia. Come on.
I love that kid.
HR Mallory says, come on, Brent. If Texas can beat Bama, anyone can.
HR.
That's the position people take.
That is.
See, Alabama's going to be in the mix again. If they beat A&M, they run the table. They'll be in the top 4 probably.
Yeah. Oh,
They will if they run the table.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Good stuff, boys.
What are you going this week?
Couldn't believe Houston. All that, they were just barely hanging on. They win the division. How crazy is that?
Baseball.
Well, it's all good, boys. You got a lot of stuff this week, and you boys are great. And I'll have more on Thursday, okay?
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
brother man. Look at him. He's got to run. He's got somewhere to go.
Oh, yeah. He's off. Got a Kinsey. 9 a.m.
Patrick John Welder says, all I know, no matter how impressive Patrick Mahomes is anymore, the spotlight will only be on Travis Kelce. Only until he breaks up or Taylor Swift breaks up with him. Then it'll be back on
Why
Mahomes.
are they even interesting? He's much better looking than she is. Here, did you see where Mahomes the other day, though, instinctively smart? He was running and slid so as not to score. And then they scored. Clock management was genius.
Did he get? I caught that, and then there was an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty after that. Was that him?
I don't know.
Because he slid down early, and then he got up to the crowd and kind of threw it in the face of.
I don't know. You think Facebook just shut down?
No, the computer just shut down.
So Facebook's still there?
We'll find out. I don't know.
How about us?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. We'll find out, but we're still on radio.
Yeah, Magic 95.9, the mothership. That is one thing you should always remember, folks. Wherever you are,
Ran into some
radio.
unencountered. We never had this problem
No.
before. Yeah, we're probably. I don't know. Maybe it'll repeat.
Are we there?
I
See
don't
if I
know. We'll
move.
find out here in a second.
Says we're live. Are we live? Or is it froze? One thing about radio, it's always there. When the apocalypse comes, it will be radio that you will need.
Let's restore the pages. Let's see what happens.
We are at the top of the hour.
Pretty close. We're close enough, don't you?
I
think?
like that. It says Folger's got it wrong. The best part of waking up is going back to bed after you pee.
Doesn't quite have the same ring though.
No? Hope you folks go out
I
this
was waiting for the camera, but I don't know.
beautiful
I don't know.
Monday.
Waiting for our camera to show back up. I don't know. We might
Take
be there.
over. I don't know. It says we're live. Peter says Mahomes got a break on the bad interference call.
Frank
He's a
Mejia,
Texas
congrats
Tech
to the
guy.
Astros. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Frankie. He's a Rangers fan, I think. No B Small today?
No, be small. He's mourning. Although he called it. I don't know why he's afraid to show his face today.
Yeah.
He knew they weren't going to
He
win. He
did
even
say
said they were going to choke it away,
Yeah,
and they pretty much did. But
they did. The Rangers.
we'll see what tomorrow brings. I'm working on a couple of interesting interviews in the next little while.
Having people
hopefully.
on. Sunday, we have the Blue Bonnet Youth Ranch benefit.
We'll look forward to that. And then Monday, play golf in the tournament.
Are we playing?
I am. I don't know about you.
I don't think I got a bid yet.
I think you're one of those. You're. See, now that my daughter's in charge,
Yeah, I'm like,
I get a heads up that I'm playing.
right.
When Claude was in charge, I was on the standby list in case we need you, and you'll be a de facto celebrity, even though you're not a celebrity.
Right.
I think that's where you are on the list now for the Claude Jacobs.
Right. Well, you're
for the,
clearly a
Blue
celebrity,
Bonnet.
and I'm just kind of a,
So,
Klingon.
so
All right, folks, we're going to get out of here.
there's
It's
the
that
music.
time. Hope you guys have a
But
great
other
week.
than that,
Bye, folks.
we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Good old boys, we're all the same. Ain't no